30 ans après avoir quitté les rangs de Manowar, le guitariste Ross the Boss renoue avec son héritage power metal. Je me suis entretenu avec Ross le lundi 27 janvier dernier au Foufounes Electrique, où nous avons parlé longuement de son impressionnant parcours et aussi des projets d'avenir pour son groupe solo. Ross, thank you for taking a few minutes to talk to us at poprock.ca.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome to Montreal. Now, Ross, you have quite an amazing resume. You have a career that spans nearly 47 years.
Correct. Yeah, when I think of it, I can't believe it. I just like looking back on it, I'm like, wow.
Time sure slips by when you have fun.
Yeah, it does. Time goes by.
Now, many your average metal fan might not be aware that prior to your years with Manowar, you started with a band called the Dictators.
Yeah, we started in 1973 in upstate New York's New Paltz State College. It was a college thing, and then we went up, then we came down to the city, and we were discovered by the Blue Oyster Cult's manager, Sandy Pearlman, and we had a deal in 1974 for CBS, and we put out our first record in 1975, The Dictators Go Girl Crazy. Mm-hmm. And first it was kind of like, what the fuck is this? I can curse, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. At first people thought, like, what is this? And then as the years went by, people are like really appreciating the record, and it's hanging in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland in the punk rock wing.
Yes, because we have to mention that you literally were among the progenitors of the New York punk rock scene, together with the Ramones.
Yes, we were the first. We actually came out a year before the Ramones. Go Girl Crazy came out 1975. Their first album came out 76. We did California Sun on our record. They did California Sun on their record, strangely, but we love them as brothers. They're from Queens. We're from the Bronx, and we just grew up. We have a great friendship together, and we miss them so much.
A few years later, after 3 albums with the Dictators, Sandy Pearlman asked you if you were interested in joining a French band called Shaken Street. Mm-hmm. So you took the plane. You went over to France, and you spent about a year there.
Yeah, Sandy said this. I found this band in France. They're called Shaken Street. They need a guitar player, and so they want you. And I go, well, let's go. Plane ticket was waiting for me the next day at the airport. Fly to Paris. Plug in to the guitar. The other guitar player his father had a rehearsal room at the University of Paris, and I plugged in, and after like 5 seconds, they go, "You're hired. You're in the band." They heard me play for 5 seconds, and was like, "Okay."
And you had to brush up on your French.
Yeah, je parle français énorme back in the day. Petit peu now.
Petit peu now, just enough to get by.
Honestly,
un petit peu.
Yeah, honestly, I was speaking a lot better after I was living there for about a year, and I those memories from France back then were I'll never forget it.
Do you still keep in touch with Fabienne, the singer?
Oh, absolutely. We just did a tour last January. We did 15 shows in France, and there are plans to do more. Nono from Trust was supposed to come play with us. I think we might do it, but even still, the Shaken Street is big in France, so we'll see. But there's so much going on now. Like the original Dictators are going to play again. We're going to start recording in March when I get back. My new album is coming out March 6th, and then the Death Dealer record, the third Death Dealer, is coming out too. So my plate is very busy. I don't know which way to turn half the time, but it's a good thing to be busy.
You were asked by Sandy Pearlman to open for Black Sabbath and Blue Oyster Cult.
Shaken Street found itself on the road in the United Kingdom, opening up for Black Sabbath Ronnie Dio's first tour, Heaven and Hell. It was a momentous tour. It was just, God, I'm like, and I'm opening, and I'm opening up for Black Sabbath. Like, this is like really good. I mean, I can't believe I'm opening up for Black Sabbath. I mean, oh my God, my idols. And so we were in Newcastle City Hall, and the singer, Ronnie Dio, of course, Ronnie James Dio, comes up to, we're doing a sound check, comes up to me after the sound check. He goes, Ross, I got to tell you, I love the way you play guitar. I love Shakin' Street. I love the Dictators, the New York rock scene. He knew everything about it. I mean, he's a gentleman, the sweetest man in the world. Probably even nicer than me. Makes me look like Vlad the Impaler. And he was so sweet. I mean, so great. And you should meet Joey. We have a guy on our crew. He plays bass, and very, very original bass player. And you should go meet him. I think you guys would get along. So right after the sound check, I was like, yes, sir, Mr. Dio. And right after the sound check, I sought Joey out and said, Ronnie says you can play bass. And yeah, all right, so let's go. What can we do this? And so, well, when Black Sabbath is doing their sound check, let's go into Black Sabbath's dressing room and play. Joey played Geezer's bass. I had my guitar, and they had their warm-up amps, and we started jamming. And every day that went by,
and this was the germ that spawned Manowar.
Exactly. That was in Newcastle City Hall. That was the day that we decided to make the band, and I was going to leave Shakin' Street. And, we requested leave from high command, and they all knew what we were going to do, and it's in the song Manowar. So we, let's see, Aloha Stadium in Hawaii was our last show. My last show for Shakin' Street. Flew back home. Joey and I started from nothing. We just created the songs, and I got a deal for the band from my friend Bob Curry and EMI, and because no one else was going to sign Manowar, nobody else on this planet. So we were signed to EMI, and we had a really good deal, and that's how Manowar was born.
About Eric Adams, your singer at the time. How did you get to meet this leather-lunged, powerful singer?
Well, I can tell you that Eric is from Auburn, from Joey's town, from where Manowar is, and I said, Joey, we need a singer, and he goes, I got a singer. I go, really? Is he good? He goes, he's good, and so I met Eric, and it was. As soon as he started singing, I go, holy shit. I said, holy shit, this guy's very good.
Ian Gillan territory.
Oh, I think so. I think I don't know. It's pretty amazing. So we had Eric, and we got Donnie, our drummer, from our engineer down in Florida, Joe Foglia. We recorded the first album down in Criteria Studios in Miami. Mm-hmm. And there we go, off to the races.
Back in 1981, there was a young fledgling metal band who asked you to produce their 45. That band was called Anthrax.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Anthrax opened up a couple of shows for Manowar, and I met them. And as a matter of fact, my wife came with Anthrax, Judy, and she's like, we started going out. That being said, Scott asked me, would you mind, producing a song or two? And I said, sure. And finding out from John Z afterwards that they had been after John Z to sign this, and they didn't have. He didn't like what they were giving him. He was putting it off. It's I'm not hearing anything. But when I did Soldiers of Metal, that's when they got signed. That's when Anthrax happened.
Battle Hymns is considered as the first official power metal album.
That's right. And, when I run into people saying, "Oh, you changed my life, because of you saved my life." Every night, people come up to me and go, "Because of your songs, because of your guitar playing, and in the Dictators and playing all over the place." Fans coming up to me from all over the world saying how much I helped them and influenced them. Someone guy was saying I was going to commit suicide and the wife was hugging me, and I said, "You can't tell me that." I mean, there's like people in Australia, everywhere I go, and it's a great thing. It's a great thing. Looking back on it, I wouldn't have changed anything.
Last year, you were taking part in the Bloodstock Music Festival back in August of 2019, and you are the very special guest.
Yes, Mr. KK Downing from Judas Priest, ex-Judas Priest, and it was the first time he came on stage in 10 years, and he chose Ross the Boss Band and me to play with him, and it was a great honor. And we flew in, we practiced at his steel mill for 2 days, and then we played the show, and it was great. I mean, we really had a great show. We had an Iron Maiden sound mixer, and he did a fantastic job. Everyone said it fucking sounded amazing, and we had a tremendous day during the summer with Bloodstock. We really did.
Can we expect future collaborations from KK Downing?
I don't know. He knows my number, but KK he really doesn't want to tour. He doesn't want to travel. He's.
I understand that I understand he has a whole line of skin products and cologne for men.
Yeah, he's got all that, and I'm glad I could play with him. That was great. I had my SG with the mirror pickup like Glenn, so it was like. I was an honor. It was an honor to play those parts, an honor to play those songs, because I love those songs.
What are the plans for Ross the Boss in the band in 2020?
Well, 2020 is going to be an extremely big year and busy year. We started off, we just did the 70,000 tons of metal cruise down in Fort Lauderdale to Cozumel, Mexico. And we just started our North American tour last week. We got 26 U.S. Canadian shows. Then we take March, we're not doing anything. And then April, the whole month of April, we're in Europe. And we'll take it from there. The response to then we're booking stuff for the summer. We'll see what happens. I have a feeling it's going to be amazing.
Thank you, Ross. Ici Jérome Brisson, à Montréal, pour poprock.ca, en collaboration avec Toxik TV.